What's dangerous is when the universe pick you and you put on the magic glasses. There's rules that go with them. You can never take them off. You never see things that they're supposed to be. You see things as they are. You can never force nobody else to wear them.
I think while I lie awake and contemplate tonight are wearing me out. Well, maybe tomorrow the world will wake and get it right, but I have my doubts, yeah. During the day, well, I design machines of war that scream through the sky. 'Cause I, for one, I like to go to bed free at night under these stars and stripes. And I have my doubts that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts, but they'll wind you up and pull the cord until you're spun right out, and I don't understand. Roll the dice and raise the price to feed the machine's mouth. Call it the progress of man. And I have my doubt that we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubt. And I have my doubt that we'll make it back out. I have my doubts, so I'll drink my stuff and raise some hell and shoot my guns to the end of my time. You can have the booze and go to hell and take the guns, but I know they won't be mine. That we're coming out. Yes, I have my doubts, and I have my doubts that we'll make it back out. Yes, I have my doubts. So we're all messed up and out of touch. Let's text someone who's in the other room. So don't wonder why we don't say hi or know anyone. I might as well move to the moon. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. So maybe I'm wrong. Well, I hope that I'm wrong. Well, the things I think while I lie awake and contemplate at night are wearing me out.
Good evening. I hope everyone is doing well. I'm certainly glad that it is our Friday. It's been a little bit of a hectic day today, and didn't get a whole bunch accomplished, especially on the decal front. Well, I mean, I did a lot of decal cutting, but didn't get a whole lot accomplished. A little ways into my cutting, I realized that my well, they call it a tool. It's a tool holder, and it's what holds the blade. And I realized that apparently I didn't have it clamped down tight enough. And I'm easy with it because it is made out of plastic. And so I don't crank it down for all I've got, you know. But, so the tool holder worked its way up a little bit. And the vinyl's usable. Not super happy with it. But, you know, what I cut's usable. But there's, I stand with Texas decal that I'm doing. And after cutting some, looking it over and whatnot, I believe I'm going to change it up a little bit. It was, I think I may have showed it yesterday. I'm not 100% positive if I did or not. But, hang on. Let me find a folder. I don't know what's up. There's been, like, cars driving by really slow, and that one just turned around in the neighbor's driveway. Yep, wasn't anybody for the neighbor. I may have showed you this yesterday. I don't know. I know I showed you some decals I was going to work on. I don't know if I showed you this one or not. But the I Stand with Texas one, I think I did. So anyway, the gray that you see, basically all the background, not counting this here on the outside here, but inside where it's gray now instead of white, I'm actually going to make that all solid white. So it's all going to be, there's a outer rectangle that's all white here, and so all of it's just going to be white, and it's just going to be a solid white. And then obviously I have to change the color of the letters. So I'm going to put the I Stand With in red and the Texas in blue, and I think that'll look pretty cool. I wanted to have a little bit more substance, if you will, because when you start doing like narrow lines and stuff like that when you're doing vinyl work, it tends to get messed up easily. If the person that puts it on their vehicle or whatever they put it on, you know, there's a much better opportunity for that, you know, somewhere along that vinyl to get just lifted up a little. And then once a vinyl decal gets lifted up a little bit and you start introducing dirt and moisture and all that, then, you know, especially if it's on a car window and you're driving down the road, eventually it will work itself loose. So, and everything I try to do, I really try to do with a fair level of quality. And I just think this particular decal will, I think it'll turn out much better if I do that. So, that's, I'm going to do that tomorrow. And then hopefully I get some decals done tomorrow. So, I think I've got I know I've got everything else good to go. It's just this one that I need to change up. So, not a big deal. Not a big deal. But, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've had that cutter out. So, that's likely why I didn't get the tool holder quite tight enough. Because, you know, it's been a while. And again, I don't want to crank it down too much because it is made of plastic. So, you go cranking a little bit too much on it and it'll snap and then you're just out. Let's see. What do I have here? 8 headlines up, and I was kind of running out of time. So, that's why you got the generic title. is what it is. I was running out of time. I didn't have time to really go through the news. Here at 10 minutes till, I'm putting up the articles I'm going to discuss. So I didn't have a lot of time. I certainly didn't have enough time to say, okay, well, this is what I think is the most important headline here. Get a corresponding, image to put up. So I just gave you a generic title tonight and a generic news image. So, deal with it or not. I don't know. I will say this. It appears, at least to me, that things are kind of going the direction of what I expected. And, of course, there's no guarantees that everything's going to, stay as it's trending, if you will. But, I think I may have gotten a few, I don't want to say predictions, but thoughts accurate. And I think that's evident in today's news. And I'm going to go over that and explain why I feel that way on some of it. Because some of it you might think, oh, no, that's an indicator. Yeah, but there's other things around it that I think are going to have a really big influence. And so I will explain that as I go across that. I don't have anything special to talk about tonight, so I figure I'll just get the news in, get the news done, and, make it a kind of a quick and easy kind of night, rip it off like a Band-Aid kind of deal, because I'm tired. I wanted to make sure that I could get the time slot for getting groceries today. And so I told myself that if I woke up in the middle of the night, which has been a pretty common thing lately, that I was going to come in here and get that done. And so that's that. I did that. And I think I might have got another 30 minutes or I don't know, even if I did after that. So I'm a little bit tired and a lot of bit tired. And, so there's that. And I haven't had my normal daily allotment of coffee, which, by the way, that's like a criminal offense. But, no, I am shy 1 cup of coffee today. And that's just it's horrible. I hope you all pity me. Anyway, I'm going to jump on into this. Why not? Have a sip of tea here real quick. That's without the HC. Okay. Russia and China unite over U.S. bioweapons. Whoa, Raggy. That came like out of nowhere, did it not? It says Russian and Chinese governments have held an interagency meeting in Beijing to share their assessments of biological security concerns and address the security threats posed by bioweapons, particularly those allegedly being developed by the U.S. military. Wait, what? No, we never. Fauci, no. Moscow and Beijing agreed to work together in seeking to strengthen the Biological and Toxic Weapons Convention, or BTWC if you like acronyms, a treaty signed by 109 nations in 1972. That was a good year. That was a really good year. Not because I was born in 1972, but I'm sure there were some reasons it was a really good year. To block such development of such unconventional armaments, the Russian Foreign Ministry said on Thursday in a statement. The meeting confirmed the unity of approaches of Russia and China to the biological security, the ministry said, adding that particular attention in this context was paid to the military and biological activities of the United States. The need for further close coordination and constructive interaction, both in bilateral format and at relevant multilateral fora, primarily within the framework of the BTWC, the UN, and the SCO, or otherwise the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, was noted, the ministry added. That's kind of a spiffy, kind of had a ring to that name. Anyway, that's not the important part. So, I find this really interesting, and I have some suspicions. And that's all they are, suspicions. But, and I have to tread lightly here, very lightly, so try to follow me the best you can. Some particular quack virologist was clearly involved in, I don't know, some particular outbreaks. And allegedly, and it happened to be in one of those two nations that I was just talking about. Imagine that. So do you think that if we had some kind of a backdoor agreement that we were working with, some particular types of materials that, well, I don't know, maybe the country we were working on them with might be a little aware of what we're doing? Maybe? Perhaps? So I think that is largely what's going on here, because I think China and Russia knows what we're up to. And I think in light of the hostility, regardless of who the hostility is coming from, the hostility between nations that is going on right now, that they're going to be keeping a much closer eye on us. Because, cat's already out of the bag, so to speak. They already know because they were involved. So, that's my thoughts. I'm not going to sit here and say it's the way it is, but that's what I suspect. So, going on from this, Chinese defense chief promises support to Russia on Ukrainian issue. So let's read a few paragraphs and see exactly what they mean by support. Chinese Defense Minister Dong Jun, I like that name, Dong Jun. That's a damn good name, Dong Jun. It is way better than Boris Pistorius. Way better. Dong Jun. I like that. Nice to meet you, Dong Jun. Anyway, he has told his Russian counterpart, Sergei Shoigu, which is not quite as good of a name, that strategic cooperation between Moscow and Beijing is a pillar of maintaining peace around the globe, in his first public appearance since his appointment at the end of last year. As two great powers, Russia and China should deepen their cooperation and decisively respond to global challenges, the defense chief said during a video call on Wednesday. Isn't that so sweet? They zoomed together. We have supported, what else do you expect from Dong Jun? We have supported you on the Ukrainian issue despite the fact that the U.S. and the EU continue to put pressure on the Chinese side, Dong stated, promising that Beijing, well, it's not my fault, it's the article, will not change or abandon the established policy course over this, even under the threat of more sanctions, or being slapped by a dong. But that's neither here nor there. At the same time, China feels strong support from the Russian side on the Taiwan issue, as well as on other topics of our key interest, Dong added. Gotta love it when all the dongs agree. As the two most important and key forces in the... could you imagine a Dong family reunion? I gotta go. Mike, news. To the news, Mike. As the two most important and key forces in the world, we should decisively respond to global challenges. Well, might want to start with the name change, buddy. There again, though, that could be your secret weapon. All of us are going to be laughing and you'll be shoving bamboo shoots up our fingernails. But anyway, on a serious note, we all saw that this was coming, that things were heading in this direction. I think this will continue. And my earlier comments about things going, I suspect things are going to go the way that I've been suspecting, which, by the way, means, oh, we're not going to have nuclear war tomorrow. I think things are going to simmer down now, right? If you've seen that Saturday Night Live episode, that's my favorite, well, maybe my second favorite episode. Favorite definitely has to be living in a van down by the river. That's that's got to be my favorite. What, Chris Farley, I think? Anyway, yeah. Second, though, is Summer Donna now. Like, hilarious. Anyway, I think we are going to see these issues involving Ukraine and Russia. I think we're going to see them kind of mellow out. And I think we're going to see the same thing with Israel and Hamas in short order, by the way. And I have a suspicion that both of those cases, it's going to be in short order. And I know I can understand why people will be like, what? You'll see. You'll see. I'm not just trying to pull rabbits out of my hat here. Go ahead and go over this article here, and then we'll start getting to where I can explain to you about why I feel that way. U.S. has built up military stash for potential Taiwan War, says Reuters. Now, I'm not discussing, when I'm talking about this stuff, I'm not talking about us and China. I'm talking about the situation with Ukraine and the situation between Israel and Hamas and all of that. This here says the U.S. used last year's largest ever joint drills with Australia to create new stockpiles of equipment in the country in preparation for a potential conflict with China over Taiwan, Reuters reported on Wednesday, citing sources. According to U.S. officials interviewed by the agency, the war material was stashed during the Talisman Sabre exercises last July and August. The drills, which were held in and around Australia, involved more than 34,000 troops from 13 nations and focused on boosting combat readiness and logistical capabilities. The equipment from the exercises included 330 vehicles and trailers and 130 containers stored in the southeastern part of Australia. Why don't you just give them the GPS coordinates, too, while you're at it? It added that in the event of a conflict, this would be enough to supply about 3 logistics companies with a combined strength of 500 or more soldiers. Alternatively, the equipment could be used during future drills or to deal with a potential natural disaster. Numerous officials interviewed by the news agency cited logistics as a weak spot in the U.S. military, which China could exploit in the event of a conflict, potentially by bombing refueling ships and jet fuel depots. Such tactics, the officials warned, would allow Beijing to hamstring Washington without having to engage the bulk of U.S. forces. I got a point, If they can destroy the supply chain, then we're just sitting ducks. No pun really intended. And when you're talking about nations like China and Russia, who both have hypersonic weapons and specific hypersonic anti-ship weapons, yeah, I don't think it's going to go as easy as what folks think. I just don't. But we'll see where this road leads. I know that I was really concerned about the situations going on at times. I've been concerned about the situation with Israel. And at times I've had concerns about the issue going on with Russia and Ukraine. But they both seem to really be simmering down. And let me show that. Let me explain how I'm looking at some of this. Zelensky to fire top general this week, says CNN. Now, this has been all over, the news that I see. It's been all over. I guess the last couple of days, and it's kind of been, it almost seemed like Zelensky was trying to tell this dude that he was fired over the newscasts. So, I never missed. Ow! I just poked myself with my little pick, my vinyl pick. I forgot I sharpened that puppy. That kind of hurt. Anyway, so I don't know if that's what was going on or not. I just thought it was awful weird that Zelensky, I mean, it's like he was going to the paper and I guess expecting, or the news, and I guess expecting the news to let, Zelensky, if I'm saying that correctly, know that he's fired, right? I mean, couldn't even send him a text message. Anyway, so that's what's going on, and this has been in the news the last couple of days, and about getting rid of Zelensky, and I'm probably saying it wrong. That cat right there in the picture. And that's been a little bit strange, the way, like I say, he's approaching that. Well, the really interesting thing is uh-oh, did I not bring that up? Hang on. No way. Hang on, let me think of what the headline was. Okay, and I think it was pretty recent that I shared it out. Give me 1 second. Because there should have been a headline there, and I don't see it. And it's like really important with all this. It won't take me but a second because it was, wait a minute. Yeah. Huh. I wonder if I didn't share it out when I thought I did. Apparently so. Nope, because I'm not seeing it. 1 second. I will find it. I'm pretty sure I saw that from RT. Aha. And then let me share this out now, because apparently I forgot to share it out. That's why I didn't have it there. My apologies. So, this had came out after this article. Zelensky's generals refuse to accept firing top commander, says Bild. It says here, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has been unable to fire the nation's top general, Valery Zelensky, because both replacements under consideration refused the job, the tabloid Bild reported on Thursday. A host of Western and Ukrainian media previously claimed, citing anonymous sources in Kiev, that Zelensky had sacked Zelensky, prompting the Ukrainian government to refute those rumors. According to Bild, the president did attempt to fire the general on Monday, and had to reverse his decision within an hour because he could not find a replacement for the nation's top commander. The move drew strong opposition from the Ukrainian generals, the tabloid claimed. Okay, so I think it's very clear here that much of the command of the military there not really good with what's been going on. They're tired. They have exhausted just tons of resources. They have watched countless people fall to Russia. They're running out of people to conscript. They're running out of ammunition. They're running out of weapons. And every time they bring something new to the front, Russia takes it out. At what point does common sense take over and we might want to concede here, and we might want to sit down at the table? And I know the West has been puppeteering Zelensky and keeping him going. But I have the sneaky suspicion that this is about to come to an end. And I think it's probably going to be a pretty abrupt end. And I think what we're looking at, very likely, is going to be a coup. I think the Ukrainian military is most definitely going to have a coup. They're going to remove Zelensky one way or another. And I think they're going to be willing to sit down at the table, regardless of what the West says. I think they're going to be willing to sit down at the table with Putin. Because when you sit back and you take a good look at what's going on, it's madness. It is complete madness that's going on. The amount of lives that are being cost, the amount of money that is being spent, and for what? And I think these generals and whatnot, I think they see this. I think they understand this. And again, they're tired. They're not just physically tired. I'm sure they're tired in every single way, as well as tired of watching people fall. And again, for what? To appease the West? Hey, that's some kind of BS deal between Zelensky and the Bidens. That has nothing to do with the generals and all that stuff. So that's what I suspect's going to happen with Ukraine in short order. We'll see. I could absolutely be wrong on that. But that's what I suspect happening. And if that does happen, I suspect that things are going to be done and over with real quick. I think Russia's probably going to annex a certain amount of area and all that, and then Ukraine will go on with the rest, and I don't know, maybe we'll see them in another 8 years or whatever. But, well, I guess 10 years, huh? Well, no, 8, because it's been going on, so. Crazy. Let me have a sip of tea. So that's my reasoning behind thinking that things with Ukraine are going to simmer down now. Yeah, I know that. And they're also, Steve said that they were, some countries in Europe are giving them money. I think I saw, I don't know who it was, but I thought I saw a $60 billion number or something like that floating around. And yeah, the West, especially Germany, because Germany's all for, you know, it's crazy. It is crazy. But that's what I'm saying. I think that that's going to be part of why a decision is made to get Zelensky out of there. Because he's just, like I say, he's just taking the money. And I have a feeling there's a whole lot of inside stuff going on with that we know nothing about. And it's largely around the Biden family. So this is on the Middle East front here. Israel apparently has accepted a ceasefire deal with Hamas. Now, I don't think as far as yet that Hamas has gotten back with their final response, but this is what it said. Israel has agreed to a ceasefire proposal that would halt its war with Hamas, Al Jazeera reported on Thursday, citing the Qatari Foreign Ministry. Hamas has reportedly given the plan a positive response. So, and I know there's channels out today that have really been like full spectrum survival and oh my god, the missiles are flying, oh my yo, Stop. I wish these people would stop. Anything that they could do to get more clicks is absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, The ceasefire plan was hashed out in Paris over the weekend, with Qatari and Egyptian diplomats mediating between Israel and the Palestinian militant group. Delegations from West Jerusalem and Gaza left the French capital promising to study the proposal and negotiate further this week, and by Thursday evening a deal was apparently within reach. Israel agreed to the ceasefire proposal, and we have initial positive confirmation from Hamas, the spokesman for the Qatari Foreign Ministry said on Thursday evening, according to Al Jazeera. We are awaiting their response, the spokesman added. The proposed ceasefire would be implemented in 3 stages, according to a Hamas statement shared with Reuters earlier this week. The first phase would see fighting stop for 40 days as Hamas hands over the female civilians, children, and elderly people it is still holding captive. During this time, large-scale deliveries of food and medicine into Gaza would resume. The following stages would see Hamas turn over captive Israeli soldiers and the bodies of Israeli troops in exchange for further aid deliveries and the freeing of Palestinian prisoners from Israeli jails. Military operations on both sides will stop during the 3 stages, the militant said, adding that the number of Palestinian prisoners freed would be open to negotiation. The proposal falls short of the full Israeli withdrawal from Gaza that Hamas initially demanded, as a step towards ending the war. However, it also threatens Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's plan to keep fighting until Israel achieves total victory over the militants, as he has promised on multiple occasions. So here's what I suspect could be going on here. And again, all of this is just my suspicions. I think things are getting real, and people realize that things are getting real. I think that Israel knows that if hostilities keep up, there's going to be continued issues between, like, Iran and the United States, and I think they're wise enough to understand that this is going to escalate out of hand really fast. And so and this is just, again, my suspicion, that that's why Israel now is ready to, talk a little more than what they were willing to before. I don't think Hamas really, I think Hamas doesn't, it goes where it goes in their minds, I think. But I think Israel's trying to be a little wiser here, because they were getting really close to full-on stupid. And I think possibly that a big part that's encouraging the ceasefire is that fact. So maybe things can calm down a little bit. Maybe situations between the Houthis and the United States and all that might settle down a little bit. And avoid major conflict, most likely nuclear. So I think that's where the score sits right now when it comes to the Israel-Hamas situation. Again, everything's not calm and cozy right now. Not yet. U.S. approved strikes on Iranian targets, says the media. Said U.S. will carry out a series of strikes on Iranian personnel and facilities in Iraq and Syria in response to a deadly attack on American troops in Jordan, CBS News reported on Thursday, citing anonymous officials. Tehran has vowed to strike back if its people or interests are threatened. The officials did not state when the strikes would begin, but said U.S. forces would likely wait for good weather in order. We're going to wait for good weather, and I just got done painting my nails, so I don't want to mess up my nails yet. So, anyway, the officials did not state when the strikes would begin, but said U.S. forces would likely wait for good weather. Oh, I already read this part. Maybe I wanted to joke about it more. Sources told CBS the strikes would take place over several days, while NBC News quoted the same officials as saying the campaign could last weeks. And again, I think that's why we're going to see things simmer down and out. Simmer down and out, to some extent. I know. It happened. American forces regularly engage in tit-for-tat strikes with Iran-aligned militia groups in Iraq and Syria, although the admission that the coming attacks could last for several weeks marks a significant escalation in the long-running conflict. And again, I think there's attempts being made here to kind of quell this a bit. And I'm not saying that the U.S. won't attack those targets. In fact, I think they probably will. But I would say there's a fairly good chance that that might be about the end, at least, of course, for now, because this is an ongoing thing that flares up, as you already know. So, waiting to see what happens on that. But then you got this going on, too. Biden tries to punish Israeli settlers. That's U.S. President Joe Biden facing anger from pro-Palestinian voters over his support for West Jerusalem's war against Hamas, has issued an executive order seeking to penalize Israeli settlers who perpetrate acts of violence in the West Bank. And to be real honest, that's only right. I mean, come on. Biden signed the order on Thursday calling for asset freezes, visa restrictions, and other sanctions against foreign nationals accused of attacking or threatening civilians in the Palestinian territory. You know, committing terrorism. The U.S. State Department later announced the first set of sanctioned individuals under the initiative, naming 4 settlers who had been accused of attacking West Bank civilians or Israeli activists. I've seen quite a few of the videos. That's all I need to see. I've seen quite a few of the videos. Israel must do more to stop violence against civilians in the West Bank and hold accountable those responsible for it, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said in a statement. The United States will continue to take actions to advance the foreign policy objectives of the United States, including the viability of a two-state solution, and is committed to the safety, security, and dignity of Israelis and Palestinians alike. At issue are assaults and threats against civilians, which have been used in some cases to force Palestinians off their land in the West Bank. For instance, one of the sanctioned individuals, David Kai Chazdai, was accused of leading a riot in which vehicles and buildings were torched and a Palestinian civilian was killed. There have been hundreds of settler attacks against West Bank civilians since the Israel-Hamas war began in October, according to the UN Humanitarian Affairs Office. And it's truly disturbing. And again, I'm not taking a side on this. What's been going on by both parties is disturbing. So I'm not sticking up for one side or the other. I'm trying to say it's not one-sided and hasn't been one-sided. You know, a lot of people act like October 7th was the beginning, and no. First of all, you got to go back to the Balfour Agreement if you want to even begin to get anywhere. But this is not new. None of this is new. It's been going on even before 1948. It's been a back and forth. You know, the reason I don't pick a side on most things is because that makes no difference on what is right and what is wrong. And I'll be damned if I will just turn my head to what is wrong and condemn, people that are at least trying to do the right thing, because I'm busy trying to pick a side. I'm busy wanting to cheer for a team. I'm not going to do that. I want a spot by the Father. And if I sit there and shield myself from wrongdoing, while condemning people for just trying to live, I'm pretty sure he's going to take issue with that. It's not about who is right or wrong. It's about what is right or wrong. Plain and simple. Okay. And this is wrong on so many levels. And if I was Asian, I might say wrong on so many. Anyway, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. That was my twin. Let me have a drink. My evil twin. No charges expected in U.S. sex tape scandals, says Capitol Police. Again, I'm going to repeat myself. It's not about who is right or wrong. It's about what is right or wrong. And there's a whole lot of individuals, especially in law enforcement types of positions, that are just throwing that all to the wind. When they're rounding people up that did nothing more than be in the parking lot of the Capitol building, and then turning around and turning a blind eye to sex tape scandals in the halls of Congress, or Senate hearing room, whatever. I don't know if that's considered necessarily Congress, Capitol building, I guess it's still in, but that's wrong. And then, just as a reminder, it wasn't that awful long ago that somebody from the left side pulled a fire alarm in order, I guess it was to interrupt a vote, I think it was. And much of nothing happened with that as well. If there's going to be civil conflict in this country, I think it's much more likely going to be over stuff like that. I really do. I couldn't update you, by the way, on anything with the border. Why? Because I haven't paid attention to it. That's how much concern I have with it. Anybody that's putting themselves into that position to be down there, in my opinion, is a fool. An absolute fool. But that's my opinion. And I'm not saying I'm okay with the illegal immigration situation. Not even close. Not even close. But the left is already unfairly targeting the right. Why give them more to target with? Why give them the reasons? I think the people, just average everyday citizens, you and I, should stay out of it for now. Because at least for now, it seems like the state of Texas has got a pretty good handle on things. I think that needs to be dealt with. And if it don't, if it does turn otherwise, then absolutely. But from what I can tell, Texas is doing a pretty bang-up job. And got the support of other state governments. Not civilian, other state governments. And I think it would be really wise to let them play this out for now. And again, if Texas is doing the right thing and D.C. continues to do the wrong thing, then yeah, things may need to go up a notch. But I don't think we're quite there yet. And my advice would be to step very carefully. Because they're looking for a reason. They're looking for a reason. Huh. That wasn't too bad, getting through those. Now I get the headlines and then relax. Hang on. Ibuprofen. 'Cause I'm a big druggie, man. I'm taking them now because by the time that I'm like set to start my tossing and turning to go to sleep, maybe these will be starting to kick in and I won't be quite so sore. I'm starting to feel a little bit better. Actually, today I think I felt a considerable amount better than what I have. Ooh, and I haven't, seeing Steve just reminded me, and I haven't taken care of that. I got some real lemon today, so, I may have to have a glass of lemonade before I go to bed. 'Cause that works. Steve's on to something there. Anyway, do some headlines so I can get some lemonade and pucker my face all up funny and go to bed. Let's see. Okay, I did cover this one. Russia overtakes U.S. as Brazil's top diesel supplier, says data. They could bring me, I don't know, a couple billion gallons of it. Red Sea crisis exposing EU energy weakness, says Financial Times. What was that? Oh, it was a train? Hang on a second, folks. I think I definitely hear a train. I don't know if that's all I'm hearing, but yeah, that's all it is. It's just a train. It sounded really weird at first. Let's see. I'm over on this one. I'm making sure I was on the right one. Because I actually got another screen up here with the same thing up. Let me close that. For one, it's going real slow. I bet it was stopped on the tracks just outside of town, and that's probably why it sounds so different and actually loud, because it's actually taken off. Take off, you hoser. Alright. Red Sea crisis exposing EU energy weakness, says Financial Times. I think I may have said that one. U.S. encouraging Ukraine to commit new atrocities, says Moscow. Man uses ChatGPT to find wife. Now, I mean, I think this is he found a woman to marry. Not that, like, she was out getting hanky on him and he used ChatGPT to track her down. I don't think that was the case. U.S. has built up... covered that. Let's see. Germany mulling sale of stake in top gas importer, says Bloomberg. This one article, I don't know which ones I covered for sure, but this one says Zelensky to fire top general this week, says CNN. All victims of Ukrainian POW plane crash identified, says investigators. Corruption in Ukraine sparks outrage in U.S. Congress, says media. Biden has made Americans complicit in Ukrainian POW deaths, says Moscow. Barcelona's villa put on sale for over $500 million, says Financial Times. That's payable to me. Please. Moscow court reduces suspended sentence of U.S. investor. EU approves 50 billion euros in Ukraine aid. So there you go, Steve. 50 billion euros. Americans likely part of crew that shot down Ukrainian POWs, says TASS. Let's see. German spies tracking former boss, says media. Western countries refusing to cooperate with probe into Ukrainian POW plane crash, says Kremlin. Flames and angry protest rage outside EU Parliament. Russian tycoon loses $230 million art trial in the United States. Biden gets a major boost from female voters, says a poll. And this is claiming that, I guess, it's claiming that Biden is now, I guess, ahead of Trump or something like that. I don't, and this isn't, I don't follow this stuff, folks. I don't, because it's pointless. My opinion, I'm just not going to waste my time with stuff that don't matter. And it's a Quinnipiac University poll. I have never even remotely heard of that before. And again, it's not, I don't live in this realm, so maybe it is popular, but I have never heard of it. So I guess anybody now can go have a poll, and they're going to come out with big news stories about how that poll turned out. Yeah, Biden is surging is essentially what this says. It says he's surging, and it's largely, I guess, the female voters. So I think they're confused, and he's just surging in his pants again, and they just, let's see. Impregnate wives mayor responds to critics. I guess there's some fallout over him saying that. I figured that would happen. Let's see. Covered those. 1 second. I gotta have tea. Russia changes mandatory COVID-19 vaccination rules. U.S. believes base was hit by Iranian-made drones, says Reuters. Biden tries to punish... Oh, I covered that. And covered that. U.S. supplied missiles shot down plane carrying Ukrainian POWs, says investigators. Steve, is that because of... dang it. Who was that? You that was talking about... I think yesterday I was talking to somebody, and they were saying something about a new, well, kind of new to me. I don't want to say religion. Man, I can't remember who I was even talking to about that. Some kind of a movement. And NAR is the acronym for the movement. You know what? It might have been Laol. It could have been Laol. I think I was talking to him in Facebook Messenger yesterday. Hang on. No? Or was it you, Steve? It was, I don't know, it was somebody I was talking to. And they were telling me about the, NAR. And it's some, I can't remember what the acronym stands for now. because at first when I heard it, I initially associated it with the National Association for Rocketry, because, like, I was into that. But this is some type of odd, I don't know if you want to say, just an odd movement. And apparently, I don't know if Trump's a willing part of it, or if they have just adopted him, or exactly how that's all shaken out. But from my understanding, it's not sitting too well with Christians. So that might be why you said that, Steve, and why that could be a showing up anyway. I don't know that I believe anything with this poll crap. So that's why I kind of take all of it with a grain of salt, because most of it is crap. Let's see. What? Flying trash? Hang on. A couple of headlines came out. Let me get them shared out. They'll be up there at the top when we get there. That one's like insane. This one isn't much better. Frickin' Zelensky. That dude. Let's see. CIA staffer sentenced to 40 years for espionage. That was the individual that allegedly gave a bunch of information to WikiLeaks. Zelensky. Oh, I covered that. Oh, that's right. I forgot. And it ain't there. Let me refresh the page so it is there. Ukraine rejects flying trash warplane donation, says the media. F-18 Hornets. F-18 Hornets. Flying trash. Now, granted, the standard F-18 Hornet is pretty heavily outdated. But I don't think that the F-16s that they were going to give them were going to be the new Block 50s, whatever. I don't remember what they're up to now. But, you know, the F-16s they were going to give Ukraine were not the new ones. I can guarantee you that. Just like they're not going to be giving them the newer, like the Super Hornets and stuff like that. Because really, they're not much the same plane. Like an F-A-18 Super Hornet's not really... It's not really interchangeable with that particular aircraft there. So even the airframe's different. So... Okay, and the other one was Zuckerberg apologizes to families hurt by social media. And I'm sure he's deeply hurt by it. I'm sure. As he digs his bunker in Hawaii. So anyway. Yeah, that was one of the acronyms I came up with. No, it wasn't that. It's some... hang on. Oh, well, the National Association of Realtors are in the news involving Trump. This is more what I am talking about. The new apostolic, if I'm saying that right, the new apostolic reformation is what I'm talking about. The new apostolic reformation. That's the NAR that I was talking about. There's also the National Association Rocketry, which is, I used to be a member. Woo! Yep. I used to be a member of that long ago. Been quite a while. But yeah, that's something I really want to get back into. I really want to build some more rockets. I miss doing that. Anyway, I am going to boogie out the door and make me up some lemonade, drink me a little lemonade, and go to bed. So, I will bid you adieu and hope you all have a good evening. Hope you have a good weekend. And God willing, we'll be back Sunday night and maybe be a little less nonsensical. But no promises on that. Anyway, I am out of here. Hope you all have a good weekend. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.